Thank you so much for staying tuned. Welcome to This Morning on ITV. I am Wilson Omasho. Yes, September is a great month in the sense that our sole investor, talking about a man par excellence, the Lion of Okada. He's gotten so many accolades, so many feathers on his cap. He turned 86, or he'll be turning 86. Yeah. September 11, the great icon of our time, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Sari Benedia. Big congratulations to you. I want to call him the boss of all bosses. Yeah, turning 86. He's a jolly good fellow. So happy birthday in advance to you, sir. All right, now on this segment, we want to take a look at Edo 2020. Yes, we just can't stop talking about it. We have barely 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks for us to really go out there to exercise our franchise. And this time around, we're taking a look at it from the politics of geopolitical zones, or will you say senatorial zones, because you've seen the campaign moving from ward to ward, from senatorial district to senatorial district. Some of the opinion that it may just be like what happened in 2016 when Nigerians went out there en masse to exercise a franchise, where votes were partitioned according to geopolitical zone. Is that going to be the same in Edo State come September 19? You have the Edo South, you have the Edo Central, you have, of course, the Edo North. Is this how the votes will be raked in by various political parties? Well, my analyst will do justice to it. I'd like to start my introduction by introducing a representative of YPP, like balancing topics and political parties. Join me to welcome Prince Samson Idowu. Welcome to TMI.
Thank you very much, Wilson.
All right, I appreciate your coming. Okay, I sit very close to him. He's a very strong APC member. Join me to welcome Idris Zachary. Idris, welcome to TMI Sunday's edition.
Thank you for having me as always. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, he said on this platform, I should regard him as a comrade. He's an ardent fan of Governor Godwin Obaseki vis-a-vis PDP. Yeah, for now. I would say for the very just now. Join me to welcome Barrister Cosmos Irabo. Barrister Cosmos, welcome to TMI Sunday's edition.
Thank you, Wilson, and then good morning, viewers.
All right, now let me start off with you, Barrister Cosmos Irabo. We're going from ward to ward, senatorial district to senatorial district, canvassing for votes, trying to convince electorates on the reason why they should vote for various political parties. Do you think it's going to take the same shape as what happened in Nigeria during the presidential election 2016? Vote according to your block, senatorial block, geopolitical block, or what do you think the format will be?
Well, thank you very much. It will not be too, I will not want to say it will or it wouldn't. Yeah, because if you want to look at it, the two candidates are from one senatorial district. That is one. So for that, it might not be in consonance with senatorial districts, like what you are calling geopolitical blocks. Because in Edo State, we have this South Senatorial District, we have the Edo North, we have the Edo Central. So it will not merely be like that. Edo politics, especially this particular election, is unique. Unique in the sense that if you watch the scenario, these people were in this party, these ones were drumming support, suddenly turned to the same people, but different parties. You see, what I see that definitely will play out will be vote that is a kind of vote of protest vote, so to say, if I should put it that way. Protest vote in the sense that the masses, the Edolites now are not saying, we want to say a genuine stop to godfatherism. We want to see a genuine stop to thuggery. We want to see a genuine stop to siphoning of the resources of the state. On that grounds, we will not give our vote to somebody we have seen that has come genuinely to stop that. So that is what we are going to see. For instance, if you go to Edo Central now, Edo Central are supporting, if I'm allowed to call the name, they are supporting.
Well, for what you can say, they seem to be supporting so and so party.
They seem to be supporting.
Okay.
They seem to be supporting Obaseki. I wouldn't want to say PDP. For me, I know my own is just for the candidate. They seem to be supporting Obaseki, not because the other candidate does not have a face that can give him victory, or does not have a name that can give him victory, but they are looking at the bandwagon effect, those behind. You understand? So, and if you look at one major character that is behind the other party, seems to be, or the Ishans, I'm an Ishaman, we want to see him, some Ishans, let me put it that way, see him as an enemy to the Ishans. I don't want to be specific, you understand? Based on certain foregoings, Edo has 3 senatorial districts. Even when the so-called alleged godfather, late Tony Anene, was there, and we had the first lady, wife to the president, late Stella Obasanjo,
all right,
they still allowed it to go on the 3 ways. This senatorial district, governor; this senatorial district, deputy governor; this senatorial district, speaker.
Okay.
But with due respect, to our greatest surprise, when a particular person came in, who the same senatorial district, so to say, Edo Central, gave a wife when he had nothing, now became governor, what happened? He relegated that senatorial district, turned them to his enemy. Even when they had, the one senatorial district had the governor, the other had this deputy governor, he made sure another, the same 2 senatorial districts produced the speaker.
Okay. All right, I will come back to it now. You just hold on. Now he has given a foundation for this discussion. And Zachary, I saw you jotting down some points he raised.
I always like to jot down.
Yeah. Now, from what he said it is going to be a form of a protest vote. Yeah. And he said a particular senatorial district or geopolitical zone seems to be tending towards a particular candidate. Take it up from there.
Well, the barrister is an elder brother, and of course, I can understand certain sentiments he has expressed. It's important that first of all we know the voting strength of each of the senatorial districts. Edo South has about, I will not be specific, I'm a mathematician, so let me talk statistics today. Okay. Has about 1.2 million registered voters. Edo Central has about 300,000, while Edo North has just about 600,000. So if you look clearly, what Edo South has is more than what Edo Central and Edo North has put together. But even in that, you can quickly draw out an organogram. Now, he mentioned key phrase he used, protest. The truth is, as at this material time in Edo State, there is no protest. Nobody's protesting anything, you understand. And he made vague remarks to Comrade Adams Oshomole's administration.
He did not mention names.
I'm not mentioning names. I'm not going to mention.
All right.
But our people are watching. They know those references. It will interest you to know that in 2012, when the former governor was running for a second term in office, he won in the 18 local government. Edo Central inclusive. Because he's married, his first wife was from Edo Central. So he won in the 18 local government across the state. A vote of confidence, a reinforcement of his personality and the work he has done after first 4 years. Then in 2016, when the candidate he is supporting now,
First, you talk your
Barrister Cosmo, please do not interject. If you want to say just
no, I'm not
when
this president, the candidate of the PDP, which he is supporting, apparently, was contested, that was when he lost in Edo Central. He lost most of the local government in Edo Central, even lost to one in Edo South, and lost some other local government. Now, let's now talk about my own party, the candidate. You see, if you look clearly, the track record of performance of the governor before this present administration, before this present administration, cuts across. There are schools in the 18 local governments of Edo State. There are roads constructed in the 18 local governments. As a matter of fact, the longest road constructed by that administration was done in Edo Central. So I do not see protests coming from Edo Centralites. The Edo Centralites are wise people, and they are very sophisticated voters. So you may think they are with you, but they know who they truly support. They support those who have their interest at heart. And there is no protest. Nobody is protesting. Okay. So Edo North, the vote is going to come and block. The Edo Northerners know where they are voting for. It's going to come and block. And it's coming to our political party. The Edo Central line,
you just can't speak. You just can't speak like that. You can say seem to.
Let me follow your language.
Seems to be
coming to our political party. From all indications,
all right.
We have done the word-to-word campaign. Seems to be coming. Because the reason is simple. What Adams has done in Edo North, in the next 50 years, nobody will be able to replicate it. Okay. Same with Edo Central, same with Edo South. Edo South happens to be the biggest, and you must know that our people in Edo South, and they understand the details. They know where their nests are feathered, and of course, the developmental strides of the APC administration is there for everybody to see. You can still point to them, even after 4 years of the Holocaust.
All right, Zachary, I will come back to you. Like what I said earlier on, it's like it's turning two words, geopolitical or senatorial zones. That is what this seems to be turning to. Permit us to use the word seems to, because we are not sure yet until the D-Day. Now let me come to you, a rep of the YPP, Prince Samson Idowu. What do you feel about all this, talking about political parties trying to garner support from geopolitical / senatorial zones?
Yeah, thank you very much again. Firstly, I want to make it abundantly clear that there are not just two political parties in the race for the governorship election in Edo State. We have 14 parties, even if some of them have decided to pitch their tents with either candidates. YPP is fully on ground and we are working. Now, let's look at the issue you just raised. There's no gainsaying that, yes, if you look at what is happening in the polity today, it seems as though PDP is at the forefront of the elections. The same thing is applicable to APC. But you'll be aware that some other parties do not have the capacity financially to measure up with these people, because these parties have not been stealing. Because
okay, yes. All right. You didn't accuse any party. You just said they've not been stealing.
So,
all right.
Okay. You don't expect them to be able to muscle adverts, publicity, and the likes with these other parties. That said, I can also tell you that our Edolats are wiser today. They are tired. They are frustrated. They'll be shortchanged. And what will happen September 19th will be a shocker for everybody in Edo State and Nigeria at large. Because just like someone was suggesting, a protest vote, that's what will happen. And it's going to come in the favor of YPP.
Now, hold on. I wouldn't want to say a political party will carry the day. I've cautioned both of them, and that goes for you also. You are not INEC, you're not the electorate. You won't say this party will carry the day. Yes. So please, let's be guarded.
Okay. So it seems that protest votes to the advantage of YPP.
Okay. They are all like projecting. It seems like that is a catchphrase. Now, I wonder where that came from. Anyway,
we borrowed from you.
All right, now, they are doing the projection, calculations, permutations. Now, from what you said in the course of opening our discussion, you talked about protest vote that is not going to be based on senatorial or geopolitical zones. But from your own analysis, it seems to be tending towards that dimension already. And he said there's something like protest vote. Though he agreed to the fact it's going to be that protest vote, but it seems that it's going to favor, according to him, another party. So what do you feel about this?
First of all, let me clarify certain things.
Yes.
When I said it seems like protest vote, I'm not saying there's going to be protest, people carrying placards.
Of course, yeah.
Vote is you go and dump your distance. So whether somebody say there's protest in the land, there's no protest, that is not what I'm saying. And perhaps let me use this opportunity, golden opportunity, to clarify this talk that Edo Central has a least voting strength. Of course, the number of people, registered voters in the Edo Central might be very low. But the larger population of those in Edo Central are in Edo South. I am in Edo South. I am from a family of 10. We are in Edo South. We vote in Edo South. My cousins, everybody, we are in Edo South. Benin is the capital of Edo State. And by virtue of that, everybody from the rural areas migrates to Benin. So when you now begin to retrogressively, with due respect to you, use the registered voters in the village to count, that is something that is a little regrettable.
But it's projecting what is in the INEC register. So he's not wrong by saying that. He's making a projection.
Excuse me, with due respect.
Yes,
when you
please.
say, you are not saying that, and as a political analyst, you are anchoring on that, it means you are not a political analyst. Because when the people say this is what we are going to do, it is not just those who are in the rural areas. It crosses across. Even in the town, those who are here have also sat down to say, we have been shortchanged by this person. And let me clear certain things. Somebody made mention here that 2012, social person won. Yes, I was part of those who held that meeting. We said, this man feels that the first one, he did not get the vote because somebody from that place contested. Let us all give him this vote now. Perhaps with this, he will remember us. It became the worst. So it was as if that vote came as a result of performance. It was a result of, let us just do it and see what will happen.
Are you speaking on behalf of that senatorial district or zone?
I said, I am part of those who held the meeting.
Okay.
It will not definitely not be everybody.
Okay.
But we held the meeting. And then the worst came out of it. Nothing came and all that. How can you imagine 3 senatorial districts in a state? One was governor, one was deputy. Commonsensically, the third one will be speaker. That's the way we do it. That's the way it has been. Even when you say Tony Anene was the godfather like they claim, he still made sure that it went round. But this same person came, he made this one governor, speaker. Even when it was time for him to hand over, you say, okay, give this with the deputy governorship slot. He still changed it. Which means I can do it, nothing will happen, you can't do anything. For the sake of equity, such things shows hatred. And you expect, if you watch, when 2016, when there was this election, watch, I will speak on Edo Central because that's where I come from. When Pastor Ziamu contested with Obaseki, everybody gave their support from that area to Pastor Ziamu because one person. When Pastor Ziamu had not moved now to align with this same person, they are drumming for them. Does that not prove a thing? So that I said, kind of. You understand what I'm saying? So whether we like it or not, whether we come to give figures which you must say mathematically they are correct because that is, but politically we know they are really unfounded.
All right.
You understand?
All right. Barrister Carlos, calm down.
Okay.
Take a breather. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
What I'm trying to say in essence is,
all right,
whether we like it or not, it will be like, when I say protest votes, I spoke in English. Like protest vote does not mean people are carrying placards, carrying guns.
Okay, all right.
People are dissatisfied with a particular person.
Okay.
And all that. It's not an issue of what are these so-called development strides that we talk about that I have not seen.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Barrister Cosmos Irabo. Well, Zachary, you've heard him. He almost went emotional, but I have to hey, take a breather, and of course, you have to calm down. He talked about the imbalance that was occasioned by, how would I put it now, a former governor that doubts will lead to persons coming out to vote, hence the protest votes he talked about, talking about the balance of the senatorial zones or geopolitical zones. You see it playing out itself right now in this election come September 19, 2020.
Let me reiterate what I said earlier for the sake of emphasis.
Yeah.
There will be no protest vote. The average Edo man is interested in one thing and one thing only.
But hold on, don't forget about the incident that occurred when a particular political party went to campaign in the central region, went to see a traditional ruler, but he wasn't really given a warm reception.
I was not there. I will not speculate. Were you there?
Okay, continue from that.
I was there.
So I will not speculate.
Okay.
I was not there.
Hold on,
I will not speculate. As a matter of
please.
fact, it is not the topic. If it was the topic, I'll bring the facts.
Yes.
I'll present the facts before the whole world so that we know better.
Okay.
However, what I am saying is that the average Edo man is interested in one thing and one thing only: development of Edo State. And as a matter of fact, this present administration has failed to develop. He mentioned something. The common denominator in everything he has said is that there is a certain godfather, a certain individual who is plugging all the holes, who is insisting that his will be done in almost everything that goes on. And this is false. This is untrue. You understand? Godfatherism has only existed in the imagination of this present administration as a way of covering their failure in government. That is it. They were in our party. We know them. They were there. And when they were already crying Godfather inside the party. They now left and went to the other party. And they are still crying Godfather. When you see a man that blames his problem on every other person apart from himself is the definition of failure. If your children are not doing well, you don't go to your neighbor's house and blame your neighbor for spoiling your children. It is you, the father, that will take care of what is going on. They should concentrate on development. If they have developed Edo State, whether there is a godfather or no godfather, they will win by landslide. They won't be having the challenges they have now. Even in Edo Central, Edo's votes are unanimous. We are an homogeneous individual. We all come from Benin, all of us. Even to the last person in Nopela, close to Okene, we all emanated, we all migrated from here. The history of my village, is that we are from Udo. So you are no more a Benin man than me. I am also a Benin man like you. I am also under the Omonoba, and we are unanimous. It is a single vote. Edo voters, look, let me not say the entire vote. The simple majority is unanimous. And that is that this government has not lived up to the expectation that was placed on it. There is a standard of development we had known 8 years before this government. They were supposed to continue in that state. They didn't continue. And another key word you mentioned, thuggery. The mistake this government has made is that they think that once you don't support them, you're a thug. Or maybe those who are in Ring Road, New Benin, those boys who are unemployed are thugs. At best, the worst you can call them is unemployed youth. They are not thugs. And in any case, these guys you are calling thugs, they have voters card. And interestingly, they vote. You see your children that are not thugs that are in Canada, they don't vote. Your children in the USA and Europe, they don't vote. The thug in New Benin has voters card. And he will vote on election day. And if you have called him a thug, and you said they are using them against your government, they will vote against you. The best you can do as a government is to reform a thug, not to call a thug, not to call, and in any case, you don't have thug. The worst we have in Edo are unemployed youth.
Okay,
that is the truth of the matter.
All right, I'll come back to you, Zach. I hope you've taken note of the points he raised.
They're all here.
Okay, good. Let me come to you, Prince Samson. Now, you've heard him. It's like, I want to put it now, a strong position by these two political parties, like what you rightly said. It's not just only two political parties. We have 14 political parties in Edo State. Those some choose a collapse structure to support a political party or the other. Now, from your own perspective, from your own angle, you said you guys have not been stealing. You didn't accuse any person of stealing. Let's take it up from that angle. Do you think that will sway the hearts and minds of the voters to make another choice when you talk about the election that is forthcoming?
Exactly, Wilson. You see, like I said earlier, ordinarily I would not want to begin to join issues.
Yeah.
Because, like I said before, Edolites are very enlightened people. And they understand what has been happening in this state from 1999 to date. Now, I will just touch briefly on certain areas that my friends here have been hammering on, or hampering on. This man that turned himself to an emperor, when you call him, when you say Godfather, I think that is even underrating the place he has now put himself in the politics of Edo State. He is trying to assume the position of an emperor. Now, I don't see anything special or spectacular that he did in the 8 years that we will not have peace in Edo State. The water storm project cost this state over 30 billion. What do we have to show for it today? And you want to put that aside and you want to blame the government of the day. This is not to say that the government of the day have also, they don't have their own issues. They do. But I will not sit here and tell you the government of the day has not performed at all. Oshomole did his part. This government has done his own part. It is time for a new government to take over. Because if you look at these people, they are the same 10 and 10 pence, the same side of a coin. 4 years ago, it was the other way around. Today, so we have the same people recycling themselves and causes so much problem for Edo State. Look at River State, for instance. They are building flyovers. Look at Ebonyi. They are building flyovers. Kano, they are expanding their states for development to come in, for the state to be industrialized. What do we have here? And somebody will sit down and begin to talk about 8 years ago, what somebody did 8 years ago. Are we still talking of 8 years ago? What is the difference? What happened 8 years ago? What is the impact on the economy of Edo State? What has changed?
Just it.
You are saying people have their children abroad. Yes, they have their children abroad. Go help them. It is not a bad thing. Yes, the children don't vote here. Should that now allow us begin to support thuggery? We must speak the truth to ourselves. There is thuggery. And this government has done well to be able to manage it to an extent. We do not want to go back to the days of Lucky Midejo.
All right, now, hold on. Now, I'd like you to please watch the name calling.
Yes, sorry.
Now, since you're speaking,
I mean the government from 1999.
Okay. Now, since you are speaking, it's like on behalf of a particular political party. What are the chances of your own political party?
Our chances are very clear.
But you like giving accolades to other political parties.
I'm not giving accolades. Don't misunderstand me.
I use the word you are like. Giving accolades.
I am not.
Okay.
I am not in any way.
Okay.
I am speaking facts. And if we must succeed as a state, first we must tell ourselves the truth, simple truth. Now YPP is coming by the grace of God to change the narrative.
Okay.
We believe strongly that Edolites are tired, they are upset, they have been shortchanged, and they need to change and take the destinies of their lives, of themselves, into their own hands.
Okay.
That is why they are going to vote for YPP.
Okay. Although that you are not Edo citizens, okay? You don't know if they're going to vote for YPP or not. Let's leave it at that. Now, he has spoken at length. He talked about 8 years ago. He said, look, talked about this present administration. From what I could gather from what he said they are like almost the same bunch. Though he took a shot at the past administration 8 years ago, he took a swipe also at this administration, but he said this administration have done some good. Now let's come back again to let's come to what Zachary said. He talked about failure, talked about a thuggery, that you shouldn't brand people thugs. You should call them
at best unemployed youth. So
all these points put together, I needed to react to that.
My brother, you see, thank you so much.
Yeah.
One thing I do on this platform, irrespective of stomach infrastructure, like they call it, I speak the truth. God knows I'm not close to any of these people. Understand? First of all, we always fast as saying, past, we did this. I wouldn't want to say that, go into that, because thank God there's somebody here who has come, who is saying it the way it is. Just like I told you, I say, if you have a program that you call black and white, that is the truth. You see, before this present governor came on board, he was with these people for 8 years. Let's tell ourselves the truth here. For 8 years, they didn't know he was not good. Yet they came to tell us that he was the brain behind their so-called success. After that, they brought him. I remember when he was doing his 2nd year anniversary, the so-called alleged emperor came and was talking. This man has done this, this man has done this, this man has done that. What change? That's the question. If we must tell ourselves the truth, what change? Somebody, I don't want to say based on shallow educational level, is making himself a colossus. Yet he came and said, let the people speak. Let the people lead. Power belongs to the people. One man, one vote. But you came and you said, I gave the people bad product. Is it you to give them bad product? Or is for those people to choose their bad product? Moreover, you say, I gave you bad product, I am sorry, I gave you bad product. Is it the producer that determines the quality of a product or the consumer? Production is said to have ended when it has been consumed, and it's the consumer that tells you that. We, the consumers, are saying, yes, in your own perspective, you gave us when you are not even supposed to give us a bad product. We have tested the product is good. Leave us alone. Let Edo people lead. You are saying no, everything must be you. Now, for this man is saying 3 years plus now. For in the 2nd year, you said he was doing well. He has done this, he has done that. I can quote certain statements this man has made. This man made.
Which man now?
Excuse me, I'm not referring to you.
Hold on, because right now, because you want to follow the rules, don't mention names. Just go ahead, just listen.
I don't know who I'm talking about. And then he came and said so many things. We don't even want to say what he said about his candidate now. And you know the funny thing, very laughable thing. When they interviewed him on Chanel's, he said, well, that was what they told me. And I laugh. What is the most vital aspect of a leader? You speak last. Before you talk, you say, because people believe in you, people listen to you. You came out and said, this. You swore to God, you said you want to unveil your immunity, just to convince people that what you are saying is right. And then suddenly, you are coming to say what I said is wrong. It was what people told me.
Okay.
Does that make you a leader?
All right.
You say, you know what, let me say certain things here. I'm close to the other candidate. And you know one thing, they called him, he's not a pastor, is this. He told me something. He said, God, you know, after that election, he said, we hand them over to God. I quote. He said, God will vindicate me. What is the situation now? The same man who called him names is coming to say, he's actually not this. Is that not God work? Yet he says he's not a pastor. Another thing, the same man is confessing on his knees. What other thing do you need to prove that God's hand is on it?
Okay, because
you understand?
You've got me.
And then would you expect
yes.
The issue of thuggery that they talk about. My brother, whether you are an indigene or you're not an indigene, if you do anything that's not consonant or that is consonant with what is stated in the criminal code, you are a criminal.
Okay. All right.
So if your attitude portrays that of a thug, you are a thug.
Thank you.
I don't need to, if I don't have a job, does not mean I'm going to thuggery. There are certain things that makes you a thug. Harass people, take what belongs to them, beat them and all that, work for people as against your conscience for money. That's thuggery.
Okay. I will come back to you. Well, he has spoken volumes. You've taken note. I like the way you take notes. You take some points. And
I don't take notes.
You want to react to it. But the big question now is it about the man behind this candidate or the candidate himself?
Well, you see, when politicians discuss politics, it's a bit difficult for activists to, exist in their midst. As much as I know, there is only one APC candidate in this ballot, this election, Pastor Sagize Yamu. And every other member of the APC supports him, depending on our capacity and depending on our levels in the party. All right? So, he mentioned emperor, and it's quite laughable. We only have one traditional ruler in Benin City and others in other parts of Edo State. So emperor don't exist anyway. And in any case, the so-called accusation, when you accuse somebody, when you demonize someone, you have to also prove that this person is actually doing these things you are accusing him of. What has he done to warrant you calling somebody an emperor? And in any case, we are not here to discuss Comrade Adams. So I'd rather not dwell in those things. I will bring my co-discussion back to the topic, and that is that the present administration has failed to deliver on all the areas. Political politics is what we're talking. In all the areas that they themselves promised to do, and that is why in the APC we told them we don't entertain this kind of a loud failure within the party. So you have to seek and they decided that since we are not giving them the platform, they have to seek their re-election somewhere else. For my elder brother, the YPP candidate, we are both in the opposition. We have an accidental ruling party in power. We are both in the opposition. So as much as possible, I want him to understand that the YPP is not contesting against Adams Oshiomhole. They are contesting against the PDP. And in any case, and that is a very big if, they win the election, they will be taking over from the PDP. But in any case, let's not bother about that. So we should be wary the way he supports the party is contesting against. All right? So
I don't support that.
Okay, all right.
I've made that about
Thank you, sir. All right,
Continue, Zachary.
Use it judicially.
Not to worry. You are going to react. Just take note.
He made mention of the former governor begging that he has sold a bad product. We make wrong decisions every day, and it takes a courageous man to say this decision I made some time ago is wrong, and I apologize that I made this decision, and I'm going to tell you that I'm no longer making this decision again. Whether you support what he's now supporting or you don't support it has no way of affecting him. He has done his part. He has left. He has only come to tell you publicly so that history will record it, that this decision I made is wrong. And sometimes my daddy here speaks as though he is Edo people. Edo people, majority of Edo people, including the ones you call thugs. See, I don't believe in the word thugs. I only believe in criminals and modest citizens. Criminals are those who have committed a crime, and it is the job of the police to arrest and prosecute them. And modest citizens are those, even when, because of financial challenges, they are not able to live the kind of life they ought to live, they still manage to go out there and do things for themselves. If someone has collected something he's not supposed to collect from someone, that's criminality. It's not thuggery. And in any case, I've said before, and I'm going to say again, I told them we don't have talks. They escalated it to criminals. We don't have talks in Edo State, and I insist on it that we don't have talks. At best, what we have are unemployed youth. That it is the job of the government. It is the job of the government to reform these unemployed youth, take them off the street, get them usefully engaged instead of demonizing them as thugs. We don't have thugs.
All right. Now, Zachary still harped on failure, though Prince Samson said there's no failure anywhere that we'll see development. Even Barrister Cosmos talked about development, no failure on the part of the government. Now, it's like two major political parties, they have strongholds in some of these senatorial zones or geopolitical zone. What stronghold do you think other parties have in Edo State?
Thank you very much. You see, this is why I said ab initio that the election is not between PDP and APC. And I went further to say some other parties do not have the financial muscle to compete with these parties. But that is not to say they are not working.
Yes, that's what he said.
So if you look at what is happening today and you want to, what you see on television, you want to use that as a yardstick, then I'm sorry. Because you will be shocked at the end of the day. Other parties are moving from ward to ward, house to house. They are meeting these voters and talking to them, selling their manifesto to them, because they do not have the means of always appearing on television and radio. That said, I am from Edo North. I am from Emeura, Ivio Jekme, by the grace of God. And I can tell you that nothing was done or has been done to affect my people. That is why I said, what is all this noise about this person has done this, that one has done? Government is continuity. We do not expect that one person under 4 years or 8 years will be able to solve the so much decadence we have in our infrastructural development and every other areas of our economy. It is not possible. When you do your bit, you allow for another person to continue. What we must stress here is continuity. I don't want to sound as though I'm supporting any part. For me, they are the same people, and we need to vote them out. Our PVC should work September 19th. And coming to our strength as a party, we are meeting the electorates. We are talking to them. And we have response, good response. And you will discover that these people, for long, they just felt that, what will we do? What can we do? We just have these two parties to contend with. It's either you are here or you are here. But now that they now saw that there is fresh air for them to breathe, they are taking their decisions, they are taking their destinies to their hands.
All right.
And I tell you again, we see, and I tell you again and again, that come September 19th, we will sing a new song in Edo State.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. Our time is up. I have to invite other guests. You use 1 minute each to summarize your point based on this topic, Edo 2020, politics of geopolitical / senatorial zone. What advice do you have to each individuals, to each electorate stationed in these senatorial districts or geopolitical zones?
Well, it's simple. You have we want to pray to God that our PVC will count. But if it does count, because
it will count.
If it does, that's why I use the word it does count.
Yes, it will
because
count.
It's only one party that is in federal controls INEC. If it does count, use it and vote for genuine change, not lies. No. Not somebody who has become a colossus, who wants to determine what will happen in Edo State. And when you vote, stay there and defend your vote.
All right, thank you so much. Please, that's statement that federal controls INEC. Please, we don't really kowtow to that. The Independent National Electoral Commission. We stick to that. Okay, when for rules and regulations governing the airwaves. 1 minute, Zachary.
Well, I want to thank Edo people. The response has been very positive, and as a matter of fact, I want to continue to encourage Edo youth, especially those that are not employed. You will have a government very soon. You will have a government very soon that will not call you thugs, that will do its best for you so that you can get off the streets and live a modest life as modest citizens. So we thank Edo people, and I want to use this opportunity to also beg that we must eschew violence. Violence is not part of our culture. Whichever political divide you belong to. And on a final note, I want to wish the Esama of the universe a happy birthday.
All right. Thank you so much, Zachary. Prince Samson.
Yeah, thank you very much. In the same vein, I want to ask Edolites to ensure that their PVC speaks for them. They should all come out and mass. There won't be violence. There won't be violence by the grace of God. Come out and exercise their franchise and ensure that we change this government, better government. Thank you very much. And I want to also say happy birthday to my father, my mentor. The Esama of the
go ahead, you can use that happy birthday if you want to.
So please also say happy birthday to the Esama of Benin.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Whatever you heard them say is the opinion having to do with independent television. Okay, well, one of the discussants talked about the route of almost all Edo citizens. We all have our route traced to Benin. That is it for Auchi, Abo, well, you just name it. It's like we have this route here. Okay, so we have one. Okay, whatever happens to one negatively or positively, have this ripple effect to affect others. So please eschew violence. Violence, they say, is nothing. Go out there, vote, and your vote will definitely count. We'll be right back for the second discussion segment. Okay, bowed and high in tariff. Yeah, the tariff, and of course the hike in fuel price. How is it affecting Nigerians? We'll be right back. Do stay tuned.